Hey guys, and welcome to our channel. We are the Corroded Killer Catchers. As this is our first video, just gonna go over a little rundown of what we're planning to do here and what you're going to expect from us. First and foremost, our names are Sabrinah, George, and Maurice. A little bit about our channel. We just came together from our college class of true crime, and we are dedicating this channel to just shed some light on some of the cases from America's history. A little more info. Why did we start the channel? Again, we just came together as 3 college students from our true crime class, and we are creating this channel again to shed some light and share some info and give the people of the world a little bit of knowledge of cases that you may not know about. A little bit about our goals here too. Again, this is true crime, so it's a very, very sensitive topic. What we want and one of our utmost goals is to ensure that people know this is very serious. And we are going to try our best to be sympathetic to these people and what happened to them, but at the same time, it is for knowledge. We want you to understand the true things that have gone on, possibly when you've been alive as well. And your host for the intro, this is me, I am Sabrinah, and I hope you have a good time with us. A little bit about our creative team here as well. Maurice, who is our editor, who will also have a little part to say in our video, is the one who does most of our videos and all of that. A little bit for your background and qualifications. We are all college students, and some of the things that we have done extensive research on multiple cases now, and we have done a lot of research on different cases, including some of the most infamous ones, like Jeffrey Dahmer. And today, we're just going to go over some pretty basic info and just some few things on a case about John Dillinger. If you've never heard of him, well, now you're going to find out. Now, as we stated, of course, it is our utmost #1 goal and of utmost importance that you, as our viewers, understand that we are talking about this case. For one, to allow our viewers, to allow you guys to understand this knowledge and become aware of it, because it did happen. It is a very real topic. It is a truly significance to our channel, and we want to really make sure that you guys understand why we're talking about this specific case. True crime can sometimes be polarizing while not necessarily fully sympathetic, but we do try and we will try to ensure that we are sympathetic to the people's lives that he took away and the damage that he caused. John Dillinger was both admired by the public but despised by American law enforcement and the banks, if you can imagine why. So we do hope the viewers will gain understanding of the case of Mr. Dillinger and decide for themselves whether or not he is sympathetic or a menace to society. With that being said, let's start all the way back on May 10th, 1933. Mr. Dillinger paroled from prison after 8.5 years of a 10 to 20 year sentence. But almost immediately after his release, he robbed a bank in Bluffton, Ohio. The money that he stole back then was around $6,000, which in today's time is about $150,000. But even then, he was arrested on September 22nd in Lima County Jail, Ohio, to await his trial following the police raid of the bank. After Mr. Dillinger was arrested again, the police did find some breakup plans that Dillinger, of course, denied. But 8 of Dillinger's friends escaped prison within those same years using the exact same plans. In Indiana state prisons, shotguns were smuggled into their cells, 2 guards were shot during the escape, and a lot of other people were actually hurt. On October 12th, 3 of the prisoners and 1 parolee broke Dillinger out of jail disguised as police officers. A sheriff was shot, beat unconscious, and then left to die on the floor during the whole exchange. The sheriff's wife and a deputy were locked in the jail cell so they could break out. The FBI called for assistance to identify the 4 jailbreakers, who were Harry Pierpoint, Russell Clark, Charles Makeley, and Harry Copeland.
John Dillinger's crime spree in the early 1930s remains one of the most chaotic and notorious in American history. Between late 1933 and mid-1934, he and his gang left a trail of robberies, shootouts, jailbreaks, and sheer audacity across the Midwest. It began with a series of bank robberies. On October 23, 1933, Dillinger and his gang struck the Central National Bank and Trust Company in Greencastle, Indiana, escaping with $76,000, nearly $1,900,000 today. Less than a month later, on November 20th, 1933, they robbed the American Bank and Trust Company in Racine, Wisconsin, taking $28,000 or roughly $700,000 in today's money. Then on December 13th, 1933, they hit the Unity Trust and Savings Bank in Chicago, stealing $8,700, over $200,1700 in today's money. But Dillinger wasn't just after cash. He and his gang plundered police arsenals Auburn and Peru, Indiana, stealing machine guns, revolvers, rifles, ammunition, and bulletproof vests. On December 14th, 1933, violence escalated quickly. Dillinger and another gang member shot and killed a police officer. Less than a month later, during a robbery of the First National Bank of Chicago on January 15th, 1934, they killed another officer and escaped with $20,000, which is $500,000 in today's money. After the Chicago heist, the gang fled to Florida, then Tucson, Arizona, using assumed names while checking in at a hotel. At Tucson, a fire broke out, and firefighters immediately recognized Dillinger and his gang from photographs. Police quickly arrested them and seized the 3 Thompson submachine guns, 5 bulletproof vests, 2 Winchester rifles, and $25,000 in cash, which is a little over $624,000 in today's value. Dillinger was taken to the county jail at Crown Point, Indiana. Authorities boasted it was escape-proof. Their complacency allowed Dillinger to carve a fake gun out of wood, using it to hold a guard at quote-unquote gunpoint. This trick allowed him to escape while taking 2 machine guns, 2 hostages, and stole a car. Crossing state lines in the stolen vehicle was enough to get the FBI's attention to the case. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover saw Dillinger as a unique opportunity to demonstrate the Bureau's growing authority. Dillinger reunited with his girlfriend, Evelyn Frechette, in Chicago, and together they traveled to St. Paul, joining Babyface Nelson and other criminals to continue robbing banks. On March 30th, 1934, a critical moment occurred at the Lincoln Court Apartments. An FBI agent reported 2 suspicious tenants, Mr. and Mrs. Hellman, and surveillance began. When agents and a police officer knock on the door, Frechette answers and immediately slams the door. Gunfire erupted. Homer Van Meter exchanged shots with the agents and fled, hijacking a truck through gunpoint to reach Eddie Green's apartment. Meanwhile, machine gun fire from the Hellman apartment allowed Dillinger and Frechette to escape through the back. Dillinger was wounded during the escape and was treated by Green. Dillinger and Frechette fled to Morrisville, Indiana, staying with Dillinger's father and half-brother until his wounds healed. Frechette later returned to Chicago, was arrested, and sentenced to 2 years in prison and a fine of $1,000, roughly $25,000 today, for conspiracy to harbor a fugitive. Dillinger continued robbing, including a police station in Warsaw, Indiana, stealing more guns and bulletproof vests. He hid in Upper Michigan, but narrowly escaped, an FBI posse arriving by plane.
On April 22, 1934, 50 miles north of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, the FBI received an anonymous tip regarding an influx of suspicious individuals entering the Little Bohemia Lodge. In response, Hoover sent a task force by car to investigate the call. As soon as the task force reached the lodge, they came under heavy, fully automatic fire. During the ensuing firefight, one of the agents tried to telephone for backup but received info of trouble at a lodge 2 miles away. Special Agent W. Carter Baum, another agent, and a police constable were dispatched to investigate. When they arrived, Babyface Nelson came out holding 3 civilians hostage at gunpoint. Before Baum and the 2 others could even give the order to comply, Nelson opened fire, killing Baum and wounding the other 2. During the chaos at the main lodge, Dillinger and 5 others managed to escape through a back window. At this point, Dillinger realized he'd become too recognizable and later underwent plastic surgery. His peers nicknamed him Snake Eyes due to the surgery's ability to change his face, but not his eyes. At this point, Hoover placed a bounty of $10,000, or about $250,000 today, on Dillinger's head. On July 21, 1934, Anna Kumpanas, also known as Anna Sage, an illegal immigrant from Romania working at a brothel, told the FBI that she could give information on Dillinger in exchange for the cash bounty and prevention of her deportation. Sage informed the FBI that she, Polly Hamilton, and Dillinger would be watching a movie at either the Biograph or Marlborough Theater the next evening. She would wear an orange dress to make herself easily identifiable by federal agents. On July 22, 1934, Sage called the FBI to confirm the movie night, but did not state which theater the three would be attending. So agents were dispatched to both theaters to provide surveillance. At 8:30 p.m., Sage, Hamilton, and Dillinger were spotted entering the Biograph. Agents at the Marlborough were phoned to move over and converge on the correct theater. At 10:30 p.m., the three exited the theater, and the FBI began closing in on the group. Dillinger spotted the agents and attempted to draw a pistol he had in his pocket, but before he could, 3 of the agents fired 5 rounds at Dillinger, 3 of the rounds hitting him, causing him to fall face first onto the pavement. At 10:50 p.m., Dillinger was declared dead at the hospital, thus ending the story of America's first Public Enemy number 1. Hello everybody, glad you made it to the end of the case. Before we go ahead and sign off, I wanted to go over a few omissions that we made about this case. Firstly, we left out some of the earlier bank robberies that John Dillinger pulled off, as they were before Dillinger gained larger notoriety and were unnecessary to telling the story, which centered around the case itself and the manhunt. Second, we left out the activities of most of the other members of Dillinger's gang, since we mostly wanted to focus on Dillinger himself. Any names or activities that were mentioned of said members were due to notoriety or activities that directly affected the FBI's manhunt. We also left out some stuff involving the actual trial of John Dillinger that got him convicted before his spree, as there was no nuance or extra details that would have held weight with the video. And a little theory that our group came up with of why Dillinger sort of spiraled into crime and went on this huge spree was the main thing that we could come up with is Dillinger's lack of structure at an early age, along with the trauma of losing his mother at 3 years old, may have been contributing factors to his life of crime. His father remarried when John was 9 years old, and John despised his stepmother. He even quit school when he was a teenager and got a job at a machine shop, but would stay out late nights due to boredom. John's father thought city life was corrupting him and decided a change of scenery would be good for the family, so they moved out to a farm in Mooresville, which, if you remember, he and Frichet stayed in as his wound healed after the gunfight over at the Lincoln Apartments. However, this didn't help anything and John's bad behavior persisted. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter.